Was old Roblox really better, or is it all nostalgia? Generally, when people talk about old versus new Roblox, there are a variety of reasons for why people don't like it as much now as in comparison to how they used to. Some people say Roblox's censorship made it worse over time, but a safer platform couldn't be that bad for Roblox, honestly. What, you want your kids getting groomed? I'm sorry, bad joke. Others say it's due to the lack of creativity on the platform, despite the ever-increasing tools and abilities. Some blame corporate Roblox groups buying games and ruining the platform by maximizing the platform for profit rather than for user entertainment. Regardless, in today's video, I want to go over the various differences between old and modern day Roblox and go over why many people may think Roblox used to be better and whether or not I think it is. Make sure to subscribe, since basically nobody is, and check me out over at twitch.tv/Reaconteur. I'm live every week, Mondays, Wednesdays at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll be bringing back the Friday stream soon with the face reveal. Now let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first reason, or series of reasons, for why people think Roblox is worse is due to the management of the platform as a whole. Before even talking about the user side of things, I think it's good to go over the Roblox platform as it's changed over the years. And honestly, I think this is one of the biggest points of worsening change for modern day Roblox, because Roblox, they just keep fucking shit up. First of all, ticks. Roblox removed ticks on April 14th of 2016, and I think this was probably the first majorly bad update that they ever did, before things started to get really bad. Ticks were a currency secondary to Robux, which you could earn just by logging onto Roblox every day. Some items could only be bought with ticks, any game developer could sell developer products and game passes for ticks as well as Robux, and ticks could actually be converted into Robux, although the system made ticks worth way less than Robux to account for the fact that they were a free currency you could earn by just playing the game. Ticks removal were the first of many negative changes done for profit. Another good example of this was the Roblox egg hunts. Every Easter, Roblox would put on a big event called an egg hunt, where you would have to go into a game and then you just hunt for eggs. You just go around the map and you collect all of the eggs. Some of them were super well hidden, and then you'd get them as real items in your inventory. Then after a few years, the eggs would actually go limited, with some today selling for as much as 500,000 Robux due to their rarity. The best egg hunts were generally considered to be the 2016 to 2018 egg hunts, due to the fact that 2016 through 2018 were some of the biggest technological changes to Roblox, and those egg hunts had entirely new game mechanics added to the games that were made for them, and they were a lot of fun. And also by that I mean developers realized they could quite literally do anything in Roblox, because Lua is a coding language and not a strict toolbox or guideline. Like, actually, basically everything people do in Roblox today could have been done to some extent in 2009. And yes, I know you guys couldn't import models and all the animations and stuff, because Roblox only added importing of external assets, I think in 2014 or 2013, but as far as scripting has gone, I don't think the Lua system has changed much since then. But I could be wrong, and that's besides the point anyway. After the 2018 egg hunt, the 2019 egg hunt would come along, and it was just a way worse experience, resulting in the next year, 2020, being the last egg hunt ever, with Roblox canceling the yearly events, probably to save money because they were greedy, but also because making eggs limited means that they lose money on every egg hunt update. Because what do you mean? The eggs are limited? Oh my god, they're selling for 500,000 Robux? If a normal person gets 500,000 Robux, they're never gonna buy Robux ever again. So we gotta get rid of that. And the final large change people accredit to being bad for Roblox was the entire addition of voice chat. Due to the fact that it kind of started an entire new genre of roleplay based games, as well as being very poorly moderated and maintained, it was still generally just considered a bad idea for a while, and some people today still consider it a really bad idea. Personally, I don't think it's a great idea, but I do think it's very fun at times. But with how bad they are at confirming the actual identifications and how easy it is to just, I don't know, use your mom's ID, I end up seeing a lot of little kids with voice chat access, and it's like, alright, well, you shouldn't have that. You guys don't have like age verification for this too? You can't tell that the 8-year-old kid calling me a slur is 8 years old, but you can tell that he's saying a slur? Whatever. Now, outside of Roblox's terrible staffing, how's the platform doing from a player side of things? Well, people usually consider it just a lot less creative than it used to be. Looking back at old Roblox games, honestly none of them were particularly super original. Big games included stuff like Phantom Forces, which blatantly copies Battlefield, Counterblocks, which is literally just Counter-Strike, not even any original ideas or maps thrown into there. It is one-for-one Counter-Strike on Roblox, as well as other games like Pokemon Brick Bronze. Big titles, seemingly very unoriginal on the surface, but the biggest difference from these unoriginal experiences is that they had a lot of original thought put into them, except Counterblocks, but that's besides the point. These games had their own positive additions to the genres or games that they kinda copied. Pokemon Brick Bronze had an original map and story, and actually is a really good representation of the Pokemon series as a whole that was clearly made by real Pokemon fans who love the series and care for it, which is why they made Pokemon Brick Bronze. It was a passion project that ended up taking off, and sadly the game would eventually get taken taken down by Nintendo, but that's another story. Then there was Phantom Forces itself, which had originally designed maps, guns, mechanics, and systems to make the gameplay different from Battlefield, despite being inspired by it, as well as having completely different gameplay loops, because, I mean, there really aren't vehicles in Phantom Forces. You can call that lazy, but it's just different. Along with that, these games are copies of AAA games. They're fairly original, but also they're only at worst taking money from big corporations like EA. Today, many Roblox game copies are based off of indie games that went viral and don't even make major improvements to them. Buckshot is a great example of this for a variety of reasons. The game is a pretty poor copy to Buckshot Roulette, which I can say after finally playing it. I think it's just Buckshot Roulette but worse. But also, they take the branding from that game's main antagonist being that weird monster face guy, despite the fact that the Roblox version doesn't even use that character. They literally just stole the game's branding so it looked familiar to generate hype. So it's just a blatant, unoriginal copy of the game's branding without the representation behind it, and unlike Phantom Forces, it's taking money from a small developer whose game was pay what you want for a while, before being sold on Steam for only $3. And good for the owner of Buckshot Roulette, who had an estimated Steam revenue of around $15 million, but there are tons of other indie games who don't make as much money as that, who get their games copied all over Roblox. And at that, they don't even try to make original ideas in their copies anymore. Chameleon on Roblox is a one-to-one blatant copy of Mecha Chameleon. Harmful Company copied Lethal Company pretty blatantly as well, and also worse. That's Not My Blocky Neighbor copied That's Not My Neighbor. Also, just the worst name of any of them, by the way. A Dusty Trip copied A Long Drive, and there's so many more examples of this on the Roblox platform. And maybe the main developers don't care about Roblox games copying all their stuff, but I think it's boring and lame, and if they do care, it's also quite a lot of effort to go through with getting these games taken down due to Roblox's protection systems, as well as the fact that Roblox itself has very slow response to copyright claims on everything. The only game that really got taken down for anything was Pokemon Brick Bronze, and that's because it's Nintendo doing it. And even if it weren't Nintendo, it's so sad because it was actually a good game. When Roblox games will blatantly copy and make a worse version of a game that's like $5 and even less when it goes on sale, it's honestly just sad to see, because this could be money going to the main developers. And even then, you could have these people making these games that because they like the games, but instead they're making them for money. A good example of this is Strauss Bloodline, which is a copy of Fear and Hunger, which is multiplayer and on Roblox and family friendly and stuff like that. But Strauss Bloodline was made without monetization because the owner of it just likes Fear and Hunger. People who make these games, for the most part, aren't making these games slightly different, slightly better, slightly whatever because they like the games. They're making slightly worse copies that they can make as fast as possible to make as much money as possible. And at that, even just comparing older Roblox games, there used to be more variety among the top games on the platform. Not that Roblox today doesn't have variety, but it takes a lot more effort to find those varied and good games, and the distribution of players is way more focused in the top games compared to the smaller good games, which may have only hundreds of players compared to the hundreds of thousands the current top games do. For reference, in 2016, which was in my opinion the peak of Roblox, the last year Roblox was widely varied on the platform, most of the front popular page games, you know what I meant to say, were Work at a Pizza Place, Adopt and Raise a Baby, Murder Mystery, which is still popular today surprisingly, Survive the Disasters, Prison Life, The Normal Elevator, Laser, if any of you know what that is, Auto Rap Battles, Dried, In Plain Sight, I fucking love that game, Jailbreak, Roblox Talent Show, Breaking Point, Notoriety, Roblox High School, Be Crushed by a Speeding Wall, which sounds kind of like Roblox Slop today, but I promise it was pretty fun, and Park Tycoon 2. Now, some of these games aren't the highest effort games ever with amazing scripting and mechanics, but they were pretty original, and even the simple ones like Get Crushed by a Speeding Wall were pretty fun with varying maps and ways to get around the speeding wall you could play with your friends. It had for a lot of funny moments, right? Like, look at Prison Life, Redwood Prison, and Jailbreak. All games made with the same core concept. You're in prison as either a prisoner or a guard, and they all expanded on their games completely differently based on those ideas. Even Notoriety and Breaking Point, which were both inspired by games like Heyday and Payday 2, were still very different from each other, despite having the same source inspiration, and they're also both very different from their source inspirations. And they're both very good. Today, Roblox devs would have copied the same ideas almost entirely, except add a single twist on it. Like Dead Rails being turned into Dead Ocean, where the only difference is the medium of transport. Which, by the way, Dead Rails is also a copy, but I don't want to talk about that anymore. Prison Life and Jailbreak are basically entirely different games, besides having the same core concepts. Which then brings me into the trending side of things. Too many devs on Roblox today are really only doing it for money and don't care about making a long-lasting experience that can be fun for a lot of people for a long time. Monad Studios is honestly such a good studio on Roblox because they're a big outlier. Deep Woken and Rogue Lineage are probably the most care and effort put into any two games that are also purely original concepts on the entirety of the Roblox platform. And I get both Rogue Lineage and Deep Woken have taken inspirations from anime games and sources of media that the developers like, but they're never one-to-one copying anything, except for the Shinobi class in Rogue Lineage, but that's like 1% of the game, so it's fine. And I've actually been playing Rogue Lineage again recently because of Vert, which is cool, but that's besides the point. Looking at Roblox trends today, too many developers follow them, and nobody can just make an original game. The most original games on Roblox today are still ripped from other sources and media like anime. Nobody can just make a PvP-based game. It has to be based on some sort of anime, like Sorcery being based on Jujutsu Kaisen, Ghoul-Re being Tokyo Ghoul, and the trends just keep following the same sort of archetypes of games. You have sandbox roleplay games, battlegrounds games, which at this point are basically sandbox roleplay games, anime PvP games, tower defense tycoons, and simulators. And then whatever the fuck dog shit ass Gakuran is. I know it's a sandbox roleplay game with PvP in it, but I kind of just want to talk trash about it because I think it's really, really awful and the community is so lame. Sorry. It's like a roleplay game, but just so much worse. And there are some good recent outliers like Redliner. Excuse the footage of Redliner I'm using here, I'm kind of trash because, you know, I didn't play the tutorial. But there's also a lot of garbage on the platform that isn't even worth playing. I think Roblox had a higher concentration of games worth playing 10 years ago in comparison to today. And I still play some games on Roblox like Rogue Lineage and Parkour Reborn, and the occasional old game like In Plain Sight 2 with friends or private servers or Item Asylum, or The Future. Do you guys know about that game, The Future? That game where you had like two grabby hands and you could like fight with weapons or you could move stuff out the house. That game was really fun. I really wish that game was still alive. But these games are few and far between at this point. But this isn't just due to singular greedy developers, because development groups these days are just the worst. Do Big Studios is an example of one that I hate for personal reasons, which I'll be covering in another video, but these pieces of shit buy Roblox games before pumping out as many updates and microtransaction additions as possible as that they can, in order to maximize profits on Roblox games that they buy due to their surges in popularity, like Grow a Garden 2, which was a shameless cash grab sequel, Steal a Brain Rot, and Fish. Do Big owns so many big cash grab games at this point. They're in possession of about 17% of Roblox's daily active users, and 7% of Roblox's concurrent players at any given time. They single-handedly, as a group, have more of Roblox's player base than any other group or game developers on the platform. Roblox didn't used to have groups like this. The biggest groups on Roblox back then owned individual games that they put all their effort into, not 30 games managed by 30 different developers and a team to maximize profit. So I guess the moral is capitalism ruins everything and anything it digs too deep into. From Roblox ruining their free currency to developers working more for monetization than passion because they have no real talent. Roblox's slogan used to be powering imagination, and they removed it back in like 2018, right when the platform started going downhill and slap started to get pumped out, which I don't think was really a coincidence, because it would have been a quite ironic slogan to have these days. I wouldn't say Roblox was explicitly better back in 2012 to 2016, but I think even without nostalgia clouding my judgment, I would still have more fun on those old games with all the variety of community that Roblox had. Even UGC is a weird showing of this. Giving Roblox players the ability to make cosmetics is cool, but so many of the UGC creations are just ass garbage. Like, they're so bad. They're so insanely, obscenely bad. The ones that aren't ass are ripped from other sources and media, so they aren't even original. Like, so many of the items are just terrible, and there are way too many Israeli items. Why are there so many Israels? Why am I seeing so many Israel flags here, or Jewish haircuts? What's going on here? Sorry. It's all just low-effort garbage pumped out by UGC creators to, once again, maximize profit. This goes out to the UGC group Catsan, owned by Bullet. Fuck you, Bullet, and your trash-ass group of red circle spam cosmetics that you copy and paste PNGs on and make 10 a day of. You piece of trash. Sorry, I went off for a bit, but you guys get my point. Everything on the platform is done for money now, and it's so lame. And there's also tons of UGC groups like this, like Maxie's Capes by VTrust Maxie. Fuck you too, Maxie, and your lame-ass PNG paste capes. Also, Maxie owns another group called Maxie's UGC, which makes trash-ass anime faces. I guess they're higher effort, but they're lame and I still hate you. So yeah, I do think old Roblox was better, but it's mostly due to capitalism and Roblox's new free market strategy where they don't control anything. In fact, they even allow children to be on the free market. I'm sorry, bad joke again. Overall, Roblox just needs some sort of quality control to stop spamming garbage and oversaturated copies that, in all honesty, don't deserve to make money for the exact same reason why AI YouTube videos don't deserve to make money. Speaking of, I get a lot of comments on my last couple of videos, especially the one that blew up saying, "Whoa, this script isn't AI," whenever people would be surprised that I like to curse and insult bad developers or make slightly inappropriate jokes like I did in this video. But no, I don't use AI for anything. I think AI is garbage, and at that, I don't think AI writes nearly as compellingly well as I do. I think my writing and my video scripts are more entertaining than anything AI could write because it's so boring. So yes, all my videos will remain AI-free forever, or I'll quit YouTube and be fully replaced by AI like Kwebbelkop. Joking. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. New song cover dropping later this week, as well as a song cover that I released last week. So if you want to hear my song covers, I usually drop once a month. I'm dropping 2 this month. Buy a YouTube membership at any tier. And shoutouts to my YouTube members of tier 2 or higher: Philip, Akiosugi Kuni, Zerksky, Fun Guns, Crypto, Broccoli, love you Broccoli, Delusional Mo, Dev, Suited Wendigo, who bought the highest tier, I love you too, Suited Wendigo, Abrowski, Silos, Drizzy Drake Fan, and welcome to 2 new members of tier 2, Bunny Masher and Freshie, with an H between the E and the S. I love you all, have an amazing day, and goodbye.